There comes a moment in the journey of the chosen one when awakening stops being loud and dramatic and becomes quiet, deep, and almost unsettling. This is not the stage where you are searching for truth anymore. This is the stage where truth has begun searching for you. The Sophia stage of awakening is not about ego, titles, or spiritual performances. It is about wisdom that lives in your bones, discernment that cannot be shaken, and a calm knowing that no longer needs validation. If you have reached this stage, your life may look simpler on the outside, but internally, an entire universe has rearranged itself. Sophia is not innocence. It is wisdom earned through fire. It is what remains after illusions burn away, after attachments loosen their grip, and after you've learned the difference between spiritual noise and spiritual truth. This message is not for everyone. It is for the one who feels strangely alone in their clarity, who sees through patterns without trying, and who no longer resonates with confusion disguised as growth. If you feel drawn to watch this alone, it is because this stage requires honesty with yourself above all else. 1. You no longer chase answers, they arrive quietly. At the Sophia stage, something profound yet subtle shifts within you. The restless hunger for answers softens, then gradually dissolves. Earlier stages of awakening often feel driven by urgency, the need to read more, learn more, decode more, and constantly search for the next insight that will finally complete your understanding. But here, that chasing energy quiets. You realize that wisdom does not respond to pursuit, it responds to receptivity. The mind stops running ahead of life, and instead, life begins to speak directly to you in moments you once overlooked. Insight no longer feels hunted, it feels given. You notice that clarity arrives when you are not demanding it. It comes while washing dishes, sitting in stillness, walking alone, or resting without stimulation. These insights are not dramatic downloads or overwhelming revelations, they are gentle recognitions, simple truths landing with undeniable rightness. What distinguishes them is not their complexity, but the peace that accompanies them. They do not agitate your nervous system or push you into immediate action. They settle you. They feel complete. You trust them not because you analyze them, but because your body recognizes their truth before your mind can question it. This stage is marked by a deep trust in timing. You no longer panic when you do not have answers right away. The old impulse to force understanding fades, replaced by the knowing that wisdom unfolds in layers, each revealed only when your inner system is stable enough to integrate it. You understand now that premature insight can overwhelm rather than enlighten. So you wait, not passively but patiently, allowing understanding to ripen instead of grabbing at it unprepared. You also begin to notice that silence itself becomes instructive. Periods without answers no longer feel empty, they feel intentional. You sense that something is organizing beneath the surface, aligning itself before emerging. This creates a relationship with not knowing that is relaxed rather than anxious. Curiosity remains, but obsession disappears. You are no longer trying to solve life like a puzzle. You are listening to it like a conversation. The hunger to know more transforms into a quiet confidence that what matters will reach you naturally. You stop collecting knowledge for identity or reassurance. Instead, wisdom integrates itself into how you move, speak, rest, and choose. This is not intellectual surrender. It is embodied trust. You know now that truth does not shout, and it does not compete for attention. It arrives softly, and when it does, there is no confusion, only recognition. 2. Emotional reactions lose their grip on you. In the Sophia stage, emotions no longer feel like storms that overtake you without warning. They still arise, sometimes intensely, but they no longer claim ownership over your identity. You feel anger without becoming anger. You experience sadness without drowning in it. Disappointment moves through you without rewriting your sense of self. This is not suppression, denial, or detachment. It is awareness. You are present with your emotions, but no longer imprisoned by them. Earlier in life, emotional reactions may have felt automatic, even compulsory. A trigger appeared, and the body responded before consciousness could intervene. But now, there is space. A pause emerges between stimulus and response. In that pause, choice lives. You begin to observe yourself feeling, rather than being consumed by feeling. This creates a powerful internal shift. Emotions become information instead of commands. You recognize that emotions are temporary states, not permanent truths. They signal inner movements, unmet needs, or shifting perceptions, but they no longer define reality for you. This understanding removes the fear of feeling deeply. You no longer resist emotions because you trust your ability to remain sovereign while experiencing them. You can sit with discomfort without needing to escape it, fix it, or project it outward. This is emotional maturity in its highest form. What makes this stage distinct is the absence of emotional drama. You do not amplify feelings through rumination or storytelling. You feel what is present fully and honestly, then allow it to complete its cycle. There is no clinging, no rehearsing, no identity building around pain. Emotions pass through like weather, rather than carving permanent scars. You understand that suffering often comes not from emotion itself, but from resistance to emotion. This does not make you cold or detached. In fact, your emotional depth often increases. You feel more compassion, more tenderness, more sensitivity, but without self-abandonment. You no longer give emotions the authority to dictate your actions or self-worth. This inner stability allows you to respond to life with clarity instead of reactivity. Emotional mastery at this stage is quiet. There is no performance of strength or denial of vulnerability. There is simply presence. You remain intact regardless of what passes through you. This is not control, it is freedom. 3. Solitude becomes nourishing, not lonely. One of the clearest and most misunderstood signs of the Sophia stage is the transformation of your relationship with solitude. Where aloneness may once have triggered discomfort, emptiness, or self-doubt, it now feels restorative, almost sacred. You no longer measure your worth by constant interaction or external stimulation. Instead, you discover that being alone allows you to return to yourself without interference. Silence begins to feel like nourishment. It clears internal noise, recalibrates your nervous system, and restores clarity. Time alone no longer feels like something to justify or explain. You stop apologizing for your need for space. You recognize that solitude is not withdrawal from life. It is communion with your inner world. In these moments, you reconnect with your intuition, your rhythm, and your truth without distortion. Loneliness fades because it was never truly about being alone. It was about being disconnected from yourself. Now that that connection is restored, solitude feels complete rather than lacking. You enjoy your own presence. You listen inwardly. You allow thoughts to settle without distraction. This creates a sense of inner companionship that does not depend on others. You also become more selective with social engagement. You recognize that constant interaction can dilute clarity and drain energy. Not all connection is nourishing and not all solitude is empty. This discernment allows you to protect your inner environment with intention. You no longer fill silence to avoid discomfort. You let it speak. This does not mean you reject relationships. It means you no longer use them to escape yourself. When you do engage, it comes from fullness rather than need. Solitude teaches you self-trust, self-regulation, and self-respect. It becomes a place of recalibration rather than isolation. At this stage, being alone feels honest. There is no performance, no adjustment, no self-editing. You are simply present. This presence becomes your home. 4. You see through spiritual performance instantly. At the Sophia stage, discernment sharpens in a way that is felt rather than analyzed. You no longer evaluate spirituality by appearances, language, or presentation. You sense authenticity energetically. When spirituality is used as performance, when it becomes a costume rather than a lived reality, you feel it immediately. There is no confusion, no need to debate. You simply know. You are no longer impressed by loud declarations, titles, or aesthetic rituals that lack substance. You understand that wisdom does not announce itself or demand recognition. It moves quietly, often invisibly, through presence rather than proclamation. This realization changes how you engage with spiritual spaces. You become selective, not out of superiority but out of clarity. This stage brings an end to spiritual comparison. You stop measuring depth by language, practices, or identity. You recognize that spiritual performance often masks insecurity, unresolved wounds, or the need for validation. Rather than judging, you disengage. You no longer feel the need to expose, correct, or confront. You simply withdraw your energy. Truth at this stage feels grounded and embodied. It is not rushed, exaggerated, or theatrical. You feel it in how someone listens, how they move, how they respond under pressure. Wisdom shows itself in consistency, humility, and restraint. You learn to trust your energetic perception more than explanations. This discernment also turns inward. You become aware of any ways you may have once performed spirituality yourself. Without shame, you release those patterns. Authenticity replaces image. Being replaces appearing. You stop needing to be seen as wise and focus instead on being aligned. As a result, your spiritual path becomes quieter, deeper, and more private. You value substance over symbolism. You honor truth without needing to label it. And in doing so, you step fully into the integrity of Sophia wisdom. 5. Your compassion is deep but boundaried. At the Sophia stage, compassion matures into something both profound and disciplined. You feel deeply, but you no longer confuse empathy with obligation. Earlier in your life, compassion may have been intertwined with self-sacrifice, the belief that loving others required overextending yourself, absorbing their pain, or rescuing them from consequences they were meant to face. At this stage, that pattern dissolves. You understand that true compassion does not require self-erasure. In fact, wisdom demands boundaries. You still care. You still feel the suffering of others, but you no longer abandon yourself in the process. You recognize that empathy without boundaries becomes self-betrayal, and self-betrayal eventually turns compassion into resentment. Sophia wisdom prevents this fracture by restoring balance. You offer presence rather than depletion. You listen without absorbing. You support without carrying. A deep realization emerges. Not everyone is meant to be saved by you, and not every struggle is yours to intervene in. Growth cannot be outsourced. Awakening cannot be forced. You learn to respect the timing of others' journeys even when it is painful to watch. This does not harden you, it humbles you. You understand that love does not override free will. Your boundaries become quiet, firm, and non-defensive. You do not explain them excessively. You do not justify them. You simply honor them. This creates a new quality of compassion, one that is sustainable rather than draining. You can remain open-hearted without being porous. You can care without collapsing. This stage also brings discernment about where your energy truly belongs. You invest in relationships and causes that are reciprocal, conscious, and aligned. You no longer feel guilty for stepping back when something consistently harms your equilibrium. This is not withdrawal. It is wisdom in action. Your compassion becomes clean. It is no longer fueled by the need to be needed, validated, or seen as good. It arises from clarity rather than compulsion. In this way, Sophia compassion heals without entangling, supports without weakening, and loves without losing itself. 6. You release the need to be understood. One of the most liberating shifts of the Sophia stage is the release of the need to be understood by everyone. Earlier in life, misunderstanding may have felt threatening, like erasure or rejection. You may have spent years explaining yourself, clarifying your intentions, defending your choices, or hoping that the right words would finally make others see you clearly. At this stage, that effort quietly ends. You realize that being understood is not always about clarity. It is often about readiness. Some people are committed, consciously or unconsciously, to misunderstanding you because your truth challenges their framework. You stop trying to convince those who are not open, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. Your sense of identity becomes internal rather than negotiated. You know who you are without needing consensus. This does not make you indifferent to connection. It makes you selective about where you invest explanation. You speak when there is openness. You remain silent when there is resistance. Silence at this stage is not avoidance, it is discernment. External validation loses its grip because internal clarity has stabilized. You no longer seek permission to be yourself. You stop correcting narratives that were never meant to be accurate. You let people hold their versions of you without feeling compelled to edit them. This creates a profound sense of freedom. This release brings quiet confidence. You move through the world without announcing yourself or shrinking yourself. You allow your actions, presence, and consistency to speak where words once tried. You no longer fear being misinterpreted because your self-understanding is intact. The paradox is that this often makes you more clearly perceived by those who are aligned. When you stop trying to be understood by everyone, you become unmistakable to the right ones. 7. Your intuition is calm, not urgent. At the Sophia stage, intuition changes tone. It no longer shouts, it no longer rushes. Earlier intuitive experiences may have been tangled with anxiety, fear-based urgency disguised as guidance. But now, intuition feels calm, grounded, and precise. It does not push, it waits. You begin to recognize the difference between fear and intuition by their bodily signatures. Fear tightens, accelerates, and demands immediate action. Sophia intuition is spacious. It allows you to pause without panic. You trust timing as much as direction. You no longer feel compelled to act the moment clarity appears. You understand that alignment includes patience. Waiting does not feel like stagnation. It feels strategic. You sense when something is not yet ripe, and you honor that without frustration. Decisions at this stage feel clean. There is no internal debate, no overthinking, no second-guessing. When it is time to move, movement feels effortless. When it is time to pause, stillness feels purposeful. You trust both equally. This calm intuition fosters confidence without arrogance. You do not need to prove your knowing. You do not rush to explain it. You simply follow it, step by step. Life begins to feel less chaotic because you are no longer reacting, you are responding. Sophia intuition is not dramatic, it is reliable. It guides without pressure and corrects without punishment. You learn to listen to it the way you listen to breath, naturally without force. 8. Old identities fall away without grief. In the Sophia stage, identity becomes fluid rather than fixed. You no longer cling to who you used to be, nor do you mourn its passing. Past versions of yourself dissolve gently, without drama or regret. You recognize that each identity served its purpose for its season. Gratitude replaces attachment. Earlier in life, change may have felt like loss. Letting go of identities may have triggered fear, confusion, or grief. But now, release feels natural. You understand that growth requires shedding, and shedding does not negate what once was. It completes it. Labels lose importance. You no longer define yourself by roles, achievements, or narratives. You allow yourself to evolve without explanation. This flexibility creates freedom. You are not trying to preserve an image, you are responding to the present. There is no crisis in becoming someone new because you are no longer invested in permanence. You trust evolution. You trust that who you are today is not who you must remain. This does not create instability, it creates adaptability. Sophia wisdom teaches that identity is a tool, not a prison. You wear it lightly, you release it easily, and in doing so, you remain present, alive and aligned. 9. You feel guided, not controlled by life. The deepest sign of Sophia awakening is the transformation of your relationship with life itself. Life no longer feels like something to conquer, manage, or survive. It begins to feel like a dialogue. You sense intelligence moving through events, challenges, and detours. Even difficulty carries meaning. You no longer approach life as a battlefield. Control gives way to cooperation. This does not make you passive, it makes you responsive. You participate with awareness rather than resistance. Challenges still arise, but they no longer feel random or punishing. You sense guidance even in disruption. You trust that obstacles are not interruptions, but redirections. This trust does not eliminate effort, it refines it. You stop forcing outcomes. You align with movement. You recognize when to act and when to allow. This creates a sense of partnership with life rather than opposition. You are not being controlled, you are being guided. This alignment brings peace without complacency. You are engaged, awake, and responsible, yet relaxed in your trust. Life becomes less about domination and more about dialogue. This is Sophia wisdom fully embodied, moving with life instead of against it, listening instead of resisting, and participating in a flow that is both intelligent and compassionate. If this message reached you at the exact moment you needed it, that is not coincidence, it is alignment. The Sophia stage is not loud, popular, or crowded. It is quiet, sacred, and reserved for those who have earned wisdom through experience. This is the Alchemy of Awareness channel. If this resonated, take a moment to honor your journey. Subscribe to this channel so we can continue walking this path of clarity together. And if you feel called, type 11 in the comment section as a signal of alignment and divine blessings flowing into your life. Thank you for watching.